Hello, everyone. Before I begin, I just wanted to thank all of you for your flexibility and cooperation with the change in your student schedule. I know that this has been a stressful year for everyone, especially the students, and I hope that this video gives you some clarification on how the year is going to go in their new class and eases your mind a little bit about the change. So I just want to introduce myself. My name is Danielle Mortensen, and I'm going to be your students, either their new social studies teacher and just social studies, or their new homeroom teacher, social studies, reading, and exploratory period teacher. So you had that letter sent home, that message was relayed to you, so you will know whether I'm just their social studies or whether they're in my homeroom and I teach them all those other classes as well. Just some background about myself. I grew up on Long Island. I am from East Northport. I went to school here my whole life. I graduated from Comac High School in 2016, and then I went off to college at Oneonta State. I studied childhood education 1 through 6 and graduated in May with my bachelor's degree. I plan on furthering my education by getting my master's in special ed. I'm not sure exactly where I want to go, but we're on the path to figuring that out. I've wanted to be a teacher my entire life. I have a very, very strong passion for teaching. I love what I do, and when I come to work, it's not really work for me because I love what I do. So I did an internship in high school, 2 periods a day at Building Blocks Developmental Preschool. I was sort of like a TA for that preschool. I was in special education classes as well as general education classes. I taught at Safety Swim as a swim teacher for about a year. I taught kids from like 2 months old all the way till about 14 years old. So yeah, that's just some background about myself. If you have any questions about me, you can email me down here. This is my email, dmortensen@mountsinai.k12.ny.us. That is where you're going to reach me, and I'll get more into that when I get to the communication slide. But for now, I'd like to start off with Google Classroom. Google Classroom is going to be a place where I will post every single thing we do in class. I'll upload the packets, worksheets, daily PowerPoints, vocabulary lists, and the PDF version of our social studies textbook. This is so that your students don't have to bring home the textbook. I know it's really heavy, and I don't want them to have to lug it back and forth every day. A lot of our homework is going to come out of the textbook, so I think it's important to have the PDF version online. So I'll post that chapter by chapter. Right now, chapter 2 is up there, and when I get to chapter 3, I'll post that. I will also post homework and reminders of upcoming quizzes or tests so that parents can stay in the loop of what's going on in our classroom. This is really important. Nothing is going to be uploaded to Google Classroom unless I tell students otherwise. This is because they're going to be in school for 5 days a week now, and everything I hand to them is going to be paper, so I just want to keep some sort of consistency with me handing them paper and them handing it back to me. The only reason they'll upload something to Google Classroom is if the school is closed for a day or if it ends up being closed indefinitely, but that's a problem for when we get there, if we get there. So I'm going to have a different section of Google Classroom for each social studies and a separate one for reading. So on my next slide are the codes. I already added all of the students, but if you want to join as a parent, I have the codes on the next slide. So for Mr. Dono's homeroom, that's the code right following Mr. Dono right here. For my homeroom, this is the code, Mr. Ciani's and Ms. Berbelia. And this is just for my reading students that are in my homeroom. That's the code for our reading Google Classroom. I posted on the social studies Google Classroom for my homeroom to please join that Google Classroom for reading. So this is only for my homeroom. If you have Mr. Ciani, Ms. Berbelia, or Mr. Dono, you're just joining my social studies. So I'll leave that up there for a second if you want to take a picture or write it down. Okay. So next I want to touch on Remind. Remind is an application that you can download onto your phone, tablet, iPad, or computer. It's an app where I'm going to send out reminders about upcoming quizzes, tests, homework, or any information I want to reiterate to you or to the students. I'm also going to put the codes underneath here. You can see them right here so that you can sign up. You can message me through Remind. If you have any questions about Remind, please feel free to reach out to me. I think it's really helpful. It comes straight to your phone. So it's really good for those reminders or just anything I need to reiterate or even just relay to you or your student. So all students and all parents can join that. So these are going to be the codes. This is for social studies and this is for reading. I just want to point out the @ sign, you have to put that when you're sending the message to 81010. Thank you. So communicating with me, this is my email at the top here, dmortensen@mountsinai.k12.ny.us. My office hours, I'm going to say they're about Monday through Friday, about 7:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. If I'm not sleeping by 9 p.m. and I'm on my phone or on my computer and you email me after 9 p.m., I will answer, but a lot of times I am sleeping by 9 p.m. But that is just a window for you to email me. Sundays, 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. If I'm on my phone or on my computer earlier on Sunday, I'll get back to you. But this is another just window that you can use as reference for when to email me. Saturdays, I probably won't check my email at all. I can also be reached through Remind. I'm really quick with responses. I'm usually always on my phone or my computer. Let me just move this up. But yeah, so I'm usually really quick with responses. When it comes to emailing me or texting me through Remind during school, I'll answer you the second I have a free period or free time in general. But if I'm teaching a class, obviously I'm not going to be on my email. I don't have a preference between email or Remind unless it's a very serious or private issue that you want to communicate with me. I would rather you please email me. Questions about homework and content can be asked on Google Classroom, but email or Remind is better. Please don't post any private or serious issues on the stream of Google Classroom. If you want to directly communicate with me, email or Remind is better for that. All right, so this is for social studies. This is going to be our textbook up here, down here I should say. History of Our World by Prentice Hall. We're starting at the beginning of civilization and it ends about close to present day. I picked up with them in chapter 2. They finished chapter 1 with their other social studies teacher, but we're starting off at chapter 2 with me. Grading. So they're going to have vocabulary quizzes, about 1 per chapter. Just a reminder, they do have one this Friday. Tests, about 1 per chapter unless we do a project. I do have some projects planned in place of tests. Essays, projects, again, that would be in place of a test grade. Homework, they pretty much have homework Monday through Thursday. I'm never going to give them homework on a Friday. I want their brains to take a break on the weekend and just relax and not have to worry about finishing homework for Monday. But Monday through Thursday, I pretty much will give them homework every night. Like I said before, it's going to be either straight out of the textbook, it's going to be those section assessments, or it will be something I give to them for ReadWorks. Classwork, that's going to be their completed guided notes and worksheets, or anything else we do in class, organizers, really anything that we do in class is going to count for classwork. So if you have any questions about this specifically, please don't feel afraid to email me. Extra help and online resources. So this is something really important that I want to touch on. So I'm going to have extra help every morning before a test for every single chapter. It will start at 7:20 and will take place in my classroom, 108. I will wipe the desks down after the students leave so that the new students can come in and everything's clean for them. But that's something I would really like to relay to you, is that I'm going to have extra help every morning before a test. It will start at 7:20. I'll be in here at 7:20, so you can send your student to extra help. I will also post on Google Classroom and send a message through Remind when those extra helps will take place. Wednesdays. So I'm making myself available. I will stay after school on Wednesdays for extra help through Google Meet. For social studies, the window is 3 to 3:30 p.m. For reading, it's from 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. You have to let me know beforehand if your student will be attending so I can send out a code for the Google Meet. And I just want to reiterate that this is just for students who are having trouble. It's not extra time for social studies or for reading. I just want to make myself available to any students that are having trouble in social studies or reading and need a little bit of extra help. And if they're having a lot of trouble and you would like me to maybe meet with them another time during the week also, if Wednesdays don't work for you, then email me and we'll work that out. Quizlet. Quizlets I'm going to make for each test, for review, and for vocabulary lists. I will share the links on Google Classroom, and I'll also send them through Remind. That's for students, just an extra resource for studying. Test review, I'm going to review with the students before every test. Probably the day before, we'll do a Jeopardy game. Just something fun and interactive to get their minds moving and to get them kind of interested in studying. They'll also receive a review packet that will be completed at home unless we have time in class, and we'll be discussing class before we take the test and probably before the Jeopardy game. So if you have any questions about extra help and online resources, please feel free to email me or message me through Remind. Reading. So this is pretty much the end for my social studies students, but if you're a reading student, please stay. For my social studies students, I want to thank you so much for watching, and I just want to let you know that I'm here for you and for your student for the entire year. If you need anything from me, please feel free to email me. Again, I'm really good with communication. I answer very quickly. I am going to put my heart and soul into making sure that your students have a valuable learning experience this year and that they leave my classroom feeling like they learned. And I want to help them in every way I can to be successful. So if there's things that you can think of that I can be doing to help your student be successful, please let me know. Again, I have a very strong passion for teaching. I love what I do. And when I come to work, it really isn't work for me because I love it. So again, thank you to those who got up to this point. Thank you for watching. And if you want to email me after this, ask me any questions, feel free. For my reading students, so we're going to read 4 books this year, 1 per marking quarter pretty much. These books are Tuck Everlasting, which we're reading currently. I picked up at about chapter 5 with them. We'll do a project at the end in class, all good stuff. Second quarter, we're going to read The Lightning Thief. Third quarter, we're going to read Frightful's Mountain. And fourth quarter, we're going to read The Girl Who Owned a City. Grades will include 1 vocabulary quiz per couple of chapters. Sorry, I didn't mean to cover chapters with the book, but 1 per couple of chapters. So I didn't give them 1 for chapters 5 through 8 because I just picked up with them. We're going to have the first one for starting at chapter 9. Test 1 per book. So at the end of the book, we're going to have a test. It'll be pretty much just general questions about the book, multiple choice, fill-ins, things like that. Classwork, we take notes during our book. We do setting, characters, predictions, and summaries. So that will be a classwork grade. It needs to be completed. Journal entries we'll do once in a while, organizers, etc. So pretty much anything we do in class, just like social studies. Projects 1 per book. This will be completed in class. I'll give them all the materials and resources that they need to finish the project, and it will be done on class time. Homework, they pretty much, like I said, get homework Monday through Thursday. Reading homework is usually the comprehension questions that follow the 2 chapters. So it's 5 comprehension questions per 2 chapters. So for example, they had homework this week to do comprehension questions for chapters 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. And it was 5 questions for 5 and 6 and 5 questions for 7 and 8. Essays we'll do once in a while, so that's a graded assignment. Next, we're going to talk about exploratory. So for those of you who don't know, exploratory is a period in the day, and it's a class that is not graded. So this class does not receive a grade. This year, we're going to talk a lot about mental health and emotions. I think that this is really fitting for this year, especially because it's been super stressful and crazy, and I want to really focus on these stress-relieving activities, mental health activities for them to do during exploratory, because I would really like for them to have this time to kind of debrief a little bit. So I'm not sure if your students told you, but every morning I have them fill out an emoji sheet that tells me how they're feeling in the morning, and then I give it back to them, and they tell me how they're feeling at the end of the day. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. So they do Monday AM, Monday PM, Tuesday AM, Tuesday PM, and so on. So this is pretty much just so I can see how your student is feeling when they come into school in the morning. And if they're feeling sad, I would like to be able to talk to them and try to see what I can do to make them feel better. And then I like to see if their mood changed by the end of the day. Like I said, this is a really stressful time for everybody. School is not the same as it usually is. So I just want to check in on your student and be there for them through anything they might need me for. So that's pretty much what Exploratory is going to look like this year. I do have a lot of fun mental health activities planned for them. So that's something I'm really excited about. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. And I just want to thank you all for watching. Again, if you have any questions, please email me. I'll answer them as quickly and as best as I can. I look forward to working with all of you and your students this year. Again, like I said before, I'm going to work tirelessly to make sure that learning is somewhat fun for your students this year, valuable, and I will do everything in my power to make sure that they're successful. If you have anything for me that you'd like me to do for your student that you think will help them in being successful, please, please, please let me know. Again, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to maybe meeting all of you and working with you, and especially working with your students. What I've seen so far, they're an amazing bunch, and I'm lucky to be their teacher. So thank you again. I hope you have a great day.